Welcome. Today we begin the story of the Pandavas journey, a tale of loyalty, betrayal, and resilience. In this chapter, we will explore how one fateful game of dice changed their lives forever. Let us uncover how trust and morality were overshadowed by greed and deceit. Duryodhana envied the Pandavas. Their prosperity in Indraprastha and their growing influence were unbearable for him. He sought counsel from his uncle Shakuni, a man known for his cunning mind and mastery of deceit. Shakuni devised a plan to destroy the Pandavas without spilling a drop of blood. Shakuni suggested inviting Yudhishthira to a game of dice, knowing that Yudhishthira's adherence to dharma or moral duty would compel him to accept. The invitation reached Indraprastha, and Yudhishthira agreed despite sensing danger. His sense of honor did not allow him to decline. Even as the Pandavas set out for Hastinapura, unease lingered in their hearts. Draupadi especially was filled with foreboding, but she trusted her husband's judgment. The game of dice began in the presence of the Kuru elders, including Bhishma, Dronacharya, and Vidura. The rules were clear, but the motives were not. Shakuni insisted on rolling the dice on behalf of Duryodhana. This Yudhishthira accepted, unaware of the trickery. Shakuni's dice were enchanted. With every roll, the outcome favored Duryodhana. Yudhishthira started by wagering gold and jewels. One by one, he lost each bet. Shakuni's words were sharp, designed to provoke Yudhishthira to bet more. "Are you afraid of losing, Yudhishthira?" Shakuni said, taunting him. Yudhishthira, unwilling to appear weak in front of the assembly, raised the stakes. The tension in the court was palpable. Yudhishthira ignored the pleas of his brothers. He believed it was dishonorable to quit a challenge. Shakuni exploited this sense of duty, pushing Yudhishthira further into the trap. With every roll of the dice, Yudhishthira lost more. First his wealth, then his kingdom. The Pandavas, once rulers of prosperous land, had nothing left. Yet Shakuni did not stop. His next move was even more sinister. Shakuni suggested Yudhishthira stake his brothers. Bhima's rage was barely contained, yet he was helpless. Yudhishthira, caught in the grip of desperation, gambled them away. The court watched in stunned silence as the Pandavas became bound by servitude. Finally, Shakuni planted his most cruel idea. Yudhishthira, in a moment of madness, wagered Draupadi, their wife. Shakuni rolled the dice. As expected, he won. The court erupted in disbelief, yet no one dared to stop the injustice. Draupadi was summoned to the court. She refused, questioning the legality of her wager. Dushyasana, one of the Kauravas, forcibly dragged her in. Draupadi, a queen, stood in front of the assembly, humiliated but unbroken. She demanded justice. "If my husband has lost himself, how could he wager me?" she asked. Her question exposed the moral decay of the Kauravas. Yet the assembly remained silent, bound by fear or allegiance to Duryodhana. Dushyasana attempted to disrobe Draupadi. Her dignity was at stake. Draupadi called upon divine intervention. Her prayers were answered. Her sari became endless, frustrating Dushyasana's efforts. It was a moment of grace amidst cruelty. Dhritarashtra, frightened by the consequences of Draupadi's humiliation, restored everything to the Pandavas. The Pandavas prepared to leave, but Duryodhana could not accept defeat. Duryodhana persuaded Dhritarashtra to call for a second game. This time the stakes were different. The losing party would go into exile for 13 years, with 1 year of concealment. If discovered during the final year, the exile would restart. Yudhishthira, bound by his commitment to dharma, agreed. As before, Shakuni ensured the Pandavas lost. With heavy hearts, the Pandavas and Draupadi prepared for exile. The game of dice was not just a loss of wealth or power. It was a loss of dignity, trust, and family unity. Draupadi, who had faced public humiliation, became a symbol of resilience. Bhima's rage simmered, waiting for the day of retribution. Arjuna resolved to prepare for war. Yudhishthira, despite his flaws, sought to endure this ordeal with honor. Draupadi reminded the Pandavas of their duty to restore justice. Her words lit a fire within them. Their journey of exile would be filled with trials, but it will also shape them for the future. The rise of the Pandavas was built on virtue, but their fall was orchestrated by deceit. This chapter marks the beginning of their journey into exile. Yet, even in their darkest moment, they held on to their values. Join me in the next chapter as we follow the Pandavas into the wilderness where their strength will be tested like never before.